Okay, hi everyone. Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to get started with the April uh, current affairs, and we are dividing this in two parts. Part one is that I'm going to give you the snapshot for April, the important days and important events, sports, appointments, right, and and then through the MCQ form, Aditya sir will take you across April again. So it will be both these things. So I'm going to give you a basic snapshot, and through this you'll be able to also do the MCQ. Right now, what is the important news for April? We'll just get started step by step. First, let's look at the important days. Now, when we look at the days, again, I mean, it's part of the MCQ. The days will lead to a certain organization, and then you also have to do the theme for those days, right? So let's just get started with the days first. The first one is 1st of April. 1st of April is the 91st anniversary of RBI, Reserve Bank of India. Right? Now, RBI was set up through the Government of India Act in 1934, and RBI was a recommendation of the Hilton Young Commission, and this is 1935 RBI was set up. RBI's headquarters was initially in Calcutta, and then it was later shifted to Bombay or Mumbai, right? And what are the important points that we need to know about this is that the first governor of RBI was Osborne Smith, and the first Indian governor was C.D. Deshmukh. As of now, we have the 26th governor of RBI, and his name is Sanjay Malhotra, right? Sanjay Malhotra is the 26th governor of RBI. He replaced Shaktikant Das, and Shaktikant Das replaced Urjit Patel, right? Urjit Patel was the governor of RBI when demonetization took place. And before that was Raghuram Rajan, right? So RBI becomes a very important organization that you should read about. Also, when you're reading about RBI, you have to look at the following things, like which is very commonly asked in examination. What is repo rate? What is reverse repo rate? Okay. What is CRR, SLR, MSF, bank rate? Okay. So, so just to give you a basic snapshot, now this will take an entire class on RBI, but I'm just giving you a basic snapshot. Repo rate is a rate at which the central bank lends money to the commercial bank, right? So this is a very common question that is asked. You should know about it, right? Similarly, the reverse repo rate is a rate at which the commercial banks are lending to the central bank or the Reserve Bank of India, right? Cash reserve ratio is the minimum amount of cash that the commercial banks are supposed to keep with the RBI. The statutory liquidity ratio is the minimum amount of deposits that the banks are supposed to maintain with themselves. So these deposits essentially they cannot loan. This is for maintaining the liquidity of the banks. Similarly, MSF, repo rate, and bank rate is basically with respect to the rate at which the RBI is lending money to the commercial bank. When we are talking about MSF, it is about 1 day. When we are talking about repo rate, it is from 2 to 14 days. And when we are talking about bank rate, it is more than 14 days, right? More than 14 days is bank, right? And the basic objective of the RBI is twofold. One is maintaining the monetary supply or the money supply. So essentially, just to give you an example, if the repo rate increases, which is a rate at which the central bank is lending to the commercial banks, if that increases, then obviously the rate at which the commercial banks are going to lend to the public will increase. And if the interest rate, the retail, the retail rate increases, less people are going to take money as loan from the banks, and therefore there will be less expenses or less money spent in the market, right? And therefore the inflation will decrease. On the other hand, if the repo rate is decreased, right, what will happen is the banks will be able to give more loans because the loans will become cheaper, and therefore more people are going to take loans from the bank, right? When more people are going to take loan, what is it is going to lead to is more money chasing limited goods, and that will lead to inflation. Okay, so these few things you must understand. Okay, all right. Also, if you look at the logo of RBI, very small things you have to observe. It is got a Royal Bengal tiger, and this logo is inspired by the logo of the East India Company. Also, you should know that which World Heritage Site has been put on which note. For instance, the 500 rupees note has the Agra Fort, right? So similarly, you should know about the 200 rupees note, the 100 rupees note, the 50 rupees note, and 20 rupees note. All right. So also, as far as the money supply goes, there is a monetary supply committee which was set up in the year 2016, and the Prime Minister is the chairman of that committee, and the RBI governor is the chairman of that committee. All right. So the ex-officio chairman of the Monetary Policy Committee is the RBI governor. And remember, it is a statutory body. It is through an act of a parliament. It's not a constitutional body, right? So this was part one. Then the next important organization. So you see, around these days, we are going to learn about organizations. The next important date is 4th of April. Now, 4th of April is, can you tell me why is this date important? Why is 4th of April important? Absolutely, very nice. 4th of April is the 77th anniversary of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And on this day, on the 4th of April 1949 at Washington, right, NATO was formed, and this is also known as the Washington Treaty. This is also known as the Washington Treaty, right? And there were 12 founding members of NATO. 12 founding members of NATO. NATO is a military alliance, right? So initially there were 12 countries. Now there are 32 countries which are part of NATO. And the most important thing that we need to learn about NATO is that the Article 5, which is collective security. The attack on one country is an attack on the entire NATO group, right? Mark Rutte is a person who is the Secretary General of NATO. Mark Rutte, right? And you should know the last 3 countries that joined NATO. The 30th country was North Macedonia. North Macedonia is a Slavic country which is part of erstwhile Yugoslavia, right? So one is North Macedonia. The second one, right after the Ukraine war, Finland and Sweden applied to become NATO member because obviously Russia, attacked Ukraine, and therefore Sweden and Finland felt threatened. Finland has the longest border with Russia, and therefore the next country that got the membership was Finland, right? Finland, right? And Sweden. Okay, and Sweden. So these are the countries which were the last 3 members of NATO. This year, so NATO is a military alliance. Remember that it's not a Economic Group, and also this year they had their meeting in Turkey. This year they had their meeting in Turkey. The capital of Turkey, Ankara, is where the 77th anniversary or meeting was also held. Okay. Also remember that in NATO, there is a condition that your 2% of the GDP has to be spent on defense, right? And now they had this meeting last year where this budget has been proposed to be increased to 5%. But Spain has refused to do that. Okay, the only country which has refused, that is part of this alliance, not to increase the budget to 5% is Spain. Okay. So the meeting here this year was in Ankara, Turkey. Ankara, Turkey is the same place where COP31 is also going to be held this year. So COP31 of UNFCCC is also going to be in Ankara, Turkey. Okay. All right. So 4th of April becomes NATO. Okay. So two organizations, RBI and NATO. So 1st and 4th. The next organization that we are going to discuss about is, okay, before that, one important day is 5th of April. And 5th of April is the National Maritime Day. 5th of April is the National Maritime Day. On this day in 1919, so 5th April 1919, the first commercial ship from India called the Sindhya Stream Loyalty, SS Loyalty, traveled from Bombay to London. Okay, Bombay to London, right? So London is a riverine port. It's on River Thames, right? So London, from Bombay to London, first Indian commercial ship travel. That's why it's celebrated as a National Maritime Day. So 5th of April is the National Maritime Day, right? London is also, I mean, I'm just telling you because since maritime thing has come, there's a National Maritime Day. The International Maritime Organization is based at London. It's one of the specialized agencies of UN. The International Maritime Organization is also based at London. So that's 5th of April. And
excuse me, what was the name of the ship again?
Of
Of the ship which traveled from Bombay to London.
SS Loyalty. So S stands for Sindhya and S stands for Steam. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. So this is 5th of April. The next one is the 7th of April. And 7th of April is the World Health Organization का anniversary. WHO. World Health Organization का जो headquarters है वो जिनीवा में है और this was set up in the year 1948. Right? You should know the director's general name, and that is Tedros Ghebreyesus. Okay, you can see the full name. Tedros Ghebreyesus is the Director General of the World Health Organization. So there are 16 specialized agencies of UN, and one of them is World Health Organization, and one of them is also the International Maritime Organization that I just mentioned. Okay, so World Health Organization का जो headquarters है, it is in Geneva. So this year they'll be having their World Health Assembly, which will be held at Geneva. Okay, the Health Minister of India is JP Nadda. So he is supposed to be representing us to the World Health Assembly. All right. So this is the World Health Organization. So now we have got 3 days. So again, the point that I'm trying to make here is through the days, you can get to learn about important organizations. And you start doing a little bit of backlinking. There are a lot of things that you can learn. For instance, I can just tell you here, I just told you that the Director General of World Health Organization is Tedros Ghebreyesus, right? He's from Ethiopia. The capital of Ethiopia is Addis Ababa. Now, what comes to my mind immediately is Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa is also the headquarters of the African Union, right? African Union was set up in the year 2001, and there are 55 countries which are part of the African Union, which was made in the lines of the European Union. Second, Ethiopia is also, part of the G20. So when India hosted the G20 meeting, the African Union was inducted into it, right? African Union, जिसका headquarters Ethiopia में है. Addis Ababa is also the venue for COP32, right? COP31 is going to be this year in Ankara of UNFCCC, right? Framework Convention on Climate Change. Is this year it is going to be in Ankara, and next year it is going to be in Addis Ababa. What again comes to my mind is at the 15th BRICS meeting that happened in South Africa, they added 5 countries that joined the BRIC that year, and one of them was Ethiopia. So that's how you do the backlink. I mean, 5 countries were added, 6 of them were added, 1 rejected it, which was Argentina. Ethiopia, Egypt, UAE, Iran, and Saudi, they were added to BRICS. Okay, so when you're doing something, just keep doing a little bit of backlinking. Next one is the 10th of April. Can you tell me why is 10th of April important? 10th of April. So World Homeopathy Day. Okay, 10th of April is the World Homeopathy Day. So what is the thing that we need to learn from here is that the founder of homeopathy was Frederick Samuel Hahnemann. Dr. Frederick Samuel Hahnemann was the founder of homeopathy, and we have a ministry called the Ayush Ministry. So the backlink is Ayush Ministry, right? So Frederick Samuel Hahnemann from Germany, founder of homeopathy, and the Ministry of Ayush is connected to it, where A stands for Ayurveda, Y for Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy, right? So there is a ministry for Ayush. So that's the backlink that you do. But most important question that could be asked from here is that the person who was a founder of homeopathy is Frederick Samuel Hahnemann. That is what you need to remember. All right. The next one is 12th of April. The next one is 12th of April. Okay, can you tell me why is 12th of April important? Without Googling, I mean, if you know about it. Why is 12th of April important? So yeah, absolutely. The 12th of April is International Day for Human Space Flight. International Day for Human Space Flight. So on this day, 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first person to go into the space. Okay, on this day, 1961, Yuri Gagarin, from USSR, became the first cosmonaut or first person to go into the space, right? And he went by Vostok 1. Vostok 1. Now, what are the backlinks here? 2-3 things we can look at it. One is that the first space flight was Sputnik 1, unmanned. Okay, and this was in 1957 October. Sputnik 1. The second space flight carried a dog, Laika, and this was Sputnik 2, which carried a dog by the name of Laika. And this was in December 1957. Okay, again, USSR. And after World War II, the world was divided into 2 parts, and communism was driven by USSR, and capitalism, democracy by USA. So if you look at it, USA was definitely threatened because of the spread of communism, and NASA was set up the following year in 1958. So these are all backlinks when we're looking at the first human space flight. Okay, and Washington is the headquarters of NASA. National Aeronautics Space Administration is a full form. So this is also a very common question that is asked. What is the full form of NASA? So it is National Aeronautics Space Administration, right? And the person who heads NASA, his name is Isaac Mann. His name is Isaac Mann, and he's also known as a billionaire astronaut. Also known as billionaire astronaut. All right, he is the person who is heading NASA, right? Headquarters of NASA is Washington. It is in established in 1958, right? In fact, my next question is, who was the first woman to go to space, to go into space? The first woman to go to space. It was Valentina Tereshkova, right? Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman to go into the space, right? And recently, what was also in news was the Artemis 2 program. Artemis 2 program. So this was a flyby mission. This was a flyby mission to moon, right? This was a flyby mission to moon, right? And there were 4 people who went, and one of them was a woman, Christopher Koch. And this is the first time that we have traveled maximum distance from the Earth, which is about 2.52 lakh kilometers. So this has been the maximum distance that we have traveled till date. And this was the Artemis 2 program by NASA, right? NASA also involved the CSA, the Canadian Space Agency, and one of the pilots was from the Canadian Space Agency. So this is the Artemis 2 program. So what is the Artemis 1 program was 2022. Artemis 2 has happened this year. And now what are they planning? They are planning a lunar landing mission, the humans going to the moon, and which is planned for 2028, right? So that's the Artemis 3 program, right? Which is going to possibly happen after 2 years. So this was the Artemis 2 program. So the word Artemis comes, so we do again a backlink, something called as Artemis Accord. Have a look at it. It's important. The Artemis Accord is basically maintaining peace in space, moon, Mars, right? So that's the Artemis Accord, which was signed by USA and 6 more countries in the year 2020, and India became the 27th member, right? And now there are more than 65 countries. I suppose you can check that, the Artemis Accord. India became the 27th member in 2023. All right, so this is important. So Artemis Accord is what you can connect with. It's basically built on the Open Space Treaty of 1967. So you can just check which is the latest country to join the Artemis Accord, and you can put that in the chat box. I will just announce that. Okay, I think it must be the 64th or the 65th country now. Last I remember was Bangladesh was the 55th country, but now more countries would have added. And last I remember, it must be 64th or 65th country, Artemis Accord. But remember this, that India was the 27th country to join. Okay, so the latest country to join. And what is the number? What is the number, Krishna? Shreya? Paraguay is the last. Okay, so 67. Now the Artemis Accord has got 67 countries, and the latest country to join is Paraguay, a South American country. Okay, so that's how you build. Similarly, we can also look at this, that the last lunar mission was the Apollo 17 mission, right? The last lunar mission by NASA was Apollo 17, and then they had budgetary constraints and they stopped it. So this mission is after that, and this is the human mission after Apollo 17. Okay, all right. And again, a question for you. This again happened in April 1984. The first Indian to go into the space. The first Indian to go into the space was squadron leader Rakesh Sharma. Okay, so this was April 1984. Squadron leader Rakesh Sharma became the first person, right? Can you tell me the name of the space shuttle by which he went? It was from USSR. Can you tell me the name of the shuttle? T11, Soyuz T11. It will be called Soyuz T11, right? Soyuz T11, Rakesh Sharma. And who is the first person from India to go to the International Space Station? Who is the first person from India to go to the International Space Station? The first person from India to go to the International Space Station has just got an Ashok Chakra, the highest peacetime award, bravery award. So that's Subhanshu Shukla. Subhanshu Shukla. So recently, what was also in news for the month of April was the mission Mitra, in which they are training these pilots in extreme condition in Ladakh, right? And this mission is being organized by ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, which was set up on the 15th of August 1969. And the mission Mitra, we have 4. So this is basically being planned for the Gaganyaan mission after 2 years. So in the Gaganyaan mission, we have 4 pilots who have been shortlisted. Subhanshu Shukla, who was one of the pilots with in the AXIM 4 mission, Subhanshu Shukla, Prashant Nair, who was a backup pilot, and then we have in the AXIM 4 mission, then we have Ajit and Angat. So 4 of them are going through this Mission Mitra program, right, which is being conducted in extreme conditions in Ladakh and by ISRO. Okay, ISRO's headquarters is Bangalore. The first chairman of ISRO was Vikram Sarabhai. The chairman now is V. Narayan. Their space launching center is Sriharikota off the coast of Andhra Pradesh. All right. So 12th of April ho gaya. Then 13th of April. 13th of April, important day because of 2 reasons. One is, of course, the Jallianwala Bagh incident. Now, again, what is the history of Jallianwala Bagh? The Rowlatt Act. Okay, the Rowlatt Act. And Rowlatt Act led to the arrest of 2 people, Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu, right? And the common question that is asked is, what is the full form of Rowlatt? So the full form of Rowlatt, I want you to put this in the comment box. The full form of Rowlatt. Revolutionaries and Anarchical Crimes Act, right? So they were protesting against it. This was brought in 1919, and this led to the arrest of these 2 leaders. Then the governor of Punjab was Michael O'Dyer, right? And the commander there, the general who ordered the shooting, was General Dyer, right? And this was in Amritsar. So that you need to know. The next thing that you need to know is that on the 13th of April is also Operation Meghdoot. Operation Meghdoot. Is Operation Meghdoot on 13th of April. Okay. All right. So what is Operation Meghdoot? Operation Meghdoot was basically taking control of the Siachen Glacier. If you look at the Siachen Glacier, one part is facing the Aksai Chin area, one part is facing the Shakshkam Valley, and then the other part is facing the POK. So it's a very important strategic area for India, and it is the highest battleground. So this Operation Meghdoot was conducted on the 13th of April 1984 by the Indian Army, and this was led by Captain Sachin Kulkarni. All right, Captain Sachin Kulkarni. So that's 13th of April, Operation Meghdoot, right? Then the next important date is 14th of April. Okay, so we have this in your MCQ also today. 14th of April is the birth anniversary of the first Law Minister of India, the President of the Drafting Committee of our Indian Constitution, and the author of the book, The Annihilation of Caste, the person who from Hinduism adopted Buddhism in 1955, and yes, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right? So his birth anniversary, and he was awarded the Bharat Ratna posthumously in 1990. So the year that he was awarded Bharat Ratna, one more person was awarded Bharat Ratna, and that was Nelson Mandela, right? Two foreigners have been awarded Bharat Ratna till date. One is Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, and who was also popularly called as Frontier Gandhi, and um Nelson Mandela. So he got this. B.R. Ambedkar got this in 1990. So very important personality. So again, I reinforce. I've done this in my classes also. 5-6 personalities you have to watch out for from January till April. Who are these personalities? One is Mahatma Gandhi, Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, 9th of January. Swami Vivekanand, National Youth Day, 12th of January. Then we have General Cariappa, the Army Day, 15th of January. He is the second person to be given the Field Marshal title. He got it posthumously. Then we have the next person, which is Subhash Chandra Bose, Parakram Divas, 23rd of January. Then we have 28th of January, Lala Lajpat Rai, Salmon Go Back, right? Salmon Commission, Lala Lajpat Rai. Then we have from from March, we have, February, we have 13th of February, National Women's Day, Sarojini Naidu. She was the president of the Indian National Congress, 1925. Nightingale of India, also the first woman governor of United Provinces. Then we have C.V. Raman, right? The first person to get Nobel Prize for Physics from India. For the Raman effect, he got this in 1930. The discovery was made in 1929, and that is celebrated as National Science Day, right? So, and then we have 23rd of March, which is the Shaheed Divas. So Bhagat Singh again becomes an important personality that we read about. And finally, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So these are personalities on which you must do some personality mapping, do a little bit of research. These become important topics till now, till the month of April. All right? Okay. So that was B.R. Ambedkar. Then the next important date is 18th of April. Now, 18th of April is the World Heritage Day, right? 18th of April is the World Heritage Day. Again, the theme and all becomes important. So World Heritage Day. World Heritage Day. Right? And so there are two organizations. This is also a day for International Day for Monuments and Sites. So there are two things here: International Day for Monuments and Sites, and also the World Heritage Day. There are two things here, right? Now, what are the things that we need to take care of here? Is number one, this particular body comes under UNESCO, right? The headquarters of UNESCO is in Paris, right? And the Secretary General or the Director General is Khalid Imami, right? Khalid Imami from Egypt. He replaced Andre Osley last year. So Khalid Imami is the person who is heading UNESCO, right? World Heritage Day, we are looking at the World Heritage Sites here, right? And this was started from 1984. The first sites from India were Agra Fort, Taj Mahal, Ajanta and Ellora Caves, right? Now we have 36 cultural sites, we have 8 natural sites, and we have 1 mixed site. Overall, we have 45 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, right? So last year, the 45th site that was added was the fortification of the Maratha military landscapes. That was the 45th site. Okay. The 44th site was the Moidams of the Ahom kingdom, the burial sites. So place called Charedio in Assam, which was the capital of the Ahom kingdom that ruled for 600 years. So this is almost akin to what pyramids are, not as elaborate as the pyramids, but yes. So this was in the year, so this was last year, 2024, that Moidams became the 44th World Heritage Site, right? And before that, 2 more sites were added, which was the 42nd and the 43rd site, where the Shanti Niketan and the Hoysala temples of Karnataka. Shanti Niketan is the abode of Rabindranath Tagore, the winner of the first Nobel Prize for Gitanjali, and Shanti Niketan is in Bengal, and 43rd is 43rd is the Hoysala temples in Karnataka, right? And you should also know that the 41st site from India was Dholevira, which is basically the ancient times. It was the shipping port and all. So Dholevira. So the order you should remember: Dholevira, the Hoysala temple, Shanti Niketan, same year. Then we have the Moidams at Charedio, Assam, and then we have the fortification of the Maratha military landscapes. So basically, there are 13 forts. 12 forts are in Maharashtra, and one of them is in Tamil Nadu, right? Maharashtra has got the maximum number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, right? And this mixed site that we're talking about here is the Kanchenjunga Natural Sanctuary. It's a mixed site, so it's both cultural as well as natural. So this natural wala jo part hai, it is decided by IUCN, International Union for Conservation for Nature. The headquarters of this is in England, right? So yeah, the natural is decided by IUCN. Okay. Okay, the country which has got maximum number of UNESCO, the country which has got the maximum number of UNESCO World Heritage Site is Italy, which has, I guess, 61 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and this is followed by China and then followed by Germany. So it is Italy, then China, and then Germany, right? You can just cross-check that. I think Italy has got 61 World Heritage Sites, and China has got one lesser, which is 60. Okay, so that's all that you need to know about the World Heritage Sites. When you're doing this, also have a look at the intangible sites in India. We've got 16 intangible sites, and Durga Puja was the last one to be added last year in December, right? And before that, it was Garba. So India has got 16 intangible sites. Okay. Next, a very important date is, well, I'm just putting it, it's not a very important day. Civil Services Day is 21st of April. So 21st of April, 1947, Vallabhbhai Patel addressed the probationary civil servants. So that's a day. So that this is a day that we celebrate as the Civil Services Day, but not very important. What is important is 22nd of April, which is the Earth Day. 22nd of April, which is the Earth Day. This becomes important, right? 22nd of April, right? So if you see, 22nd of March was the World Water Day, right? World Water Day. So through this, you can look at the Stockholm Water Prize, and which went to Kaveh Madani, right? And then we look at 22nd of April, which is the Earth Day, and then we have, yes, Diwali. Diwali was the latest one. I'm sorry. So Durga Puja was the 14th one. Then 15th one was Garba, and 26th is Deepavali, right? Okay, Riddhi. So 14th was Durga Puja, 15th was Garba, and 16th was Deepavali. All right. So is Earth Day, and 22nd of May is this month is the International Day for Biodiversity. So you can just remember like that: water, earth, biodiversity. Okay. All right. So 22nd of April. Then a very important day is the National Panchayati Raj Day. Right? Can you tell me the date for National Panchayati Raj Day? National Panchayati Raj Day. Yes, absolutely. So 24th of April becomes the National Panchayati Raj Day. Now, Panchayati Raj Day becomes a very important static topic. So what are the key things that we need to know? 1992, right? This was the 73rd amendment of the Indian Constitution, and 11th schedule was added. And earlier it was part of DPSP, Article 40, and then it became a constitutional amendment, 73rd constitutional amendment, and Panchayati Raj was, added to our constitution, right? And Panchayati Raj, the concept was of the ex-chief minister of Gujarat, Balwant Rai Mehta committee report in 56, And Nagaur in Rajasthan became the first place where the Panchayati Raj system was implemented. And this was basically a 3-tier system that was recommended by the Balwant Rai Mehta committee, which spoke about the Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti, and the 3-tier system, and the Gram Panchayat Samiti, and so one is at the block Panchayat. I'm missing the third one. Their 3-tier system was there. So Gram Panchayat Samiti and one more. Just missing that. Just check that and find out. The next one is the Ashok Mehta Committee and Zilla Parishad. Absolutely. So Zilla Parishad. So we have the Gram Panchayat Samiti and the Zilla Parishad. So this was a 3-tier system. And then we had the Ashok Mehta Committee in the year 1977, right? And this brought in the 2-tier system, the Ashok Mehta Committee, right? Also, Madhya Pradesh, after the 73rd Amendment was introduced, became the first state in India to introduce the Panchayati Raj system. Okay. Now, quick question for you. Which are the 3 states and which union territory do not have Panchayati Raj system? Which state in India? Okay. So the hint is they are northeastern states, and one UT, they do not have Panchayati Raj system. This is a very popular question that is asked in exams. Quickly, without Googling. So just write down, remember these names. One is Nagaland, one is Meghalaya, one is Mizoram, and the UT is Delhi, right? So these are the states and UTs that do not have the Panchayati Raj system. Also remember that there is a Panchayati Raj Advancement Index that you have to follow, read about it. And Panchayati Raj Advancement Index is by the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, in which Tripura topped this year. All right. And Panchayati Raj Index, if you look at the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, the minister is Lallan Singh. Okay. So just basic facts you should know. Right. So these are the important days that you need to be covering for the month of April. Now, what else has happened? I'll just give you a quick snapshot before we start with the MCQs by Aditya. One is definitely, if you look at the sports, we had, we had Khelo India Tribal Games, and this was the first edition of Khelo India Tribal Games, which was played in Chhattisgarh. And Khelo India Tribal Games, the mascot was Moorveer, and Karnataka won this, right? So till now, we have had 2 Khelo India Games this year. We had the Khelo India Winter Games that happened in Jan and February, in which services stopped, and that was played in Ladakh and Gulmarg in Kashmir. And now we have, and in which services came first, and now we have the Khelo India Tribal Games. The second thing that we need to know here is we have the 95th chess Grandmaster of India, whose name is Aryong Ghosh, right? Aryong Ghosh has become the 95th Grandmaster of India. Now, if you look at chess, you need a minimum number of points, and that's known as the EO points, right? And the EO points, 2,500 is required. Once you cross that, plus you win matches, you are, entitled to become a Grandmaster. So out of these 95 Grandmasters that we have in India, we have 4 women Grandmasters and 91 men. 1988, Vishnathan Anand became the first Grandmaster from India, right? Also remember the names of these 4 women Grandmasters from India. The first Grandmaster, who is a woman from India, her name is Hampi. The second one was Harika. The third one was R. Vaishali. R. Vaishali this time has also won the Candidates Open, right? So that was in news, and now she is going to be participating in the World Championship. And the fourth one was Divya Deshmukh. So remember these 4 names, right? The women Grandmaster, and now we have Aryong Ghosh from West Bengal becoming the 95th Grandmaster from India. Russia has got the maximum number of Grandmasters. Okay, now the organization is called FIDE, right? And the headquarters of FIDE is in Lausanne, which is in Switzerland. And Arkady Dokovic is the president of FIDE, and Vishnathan Anand is the vice president. Okay, remember that. Till date, only 16 people have crossed 2,800 EO points, and from India, there are just two people who have crossed two. The first one being Vishnathan Anand, and the second one is Arjun Agassi. Right. So remember this. Third thing about sports that you need to remember is the Laureus Sports Award. Right, and this is supposed to be the Oscar for sports. And the Laureus Sports Award this time has gone to this Spaniard who has actually replaced Nadal, from his country. His name is Carlos Alcaraz. He was also the winner of the first Grand Slam of this season, which was the Australian Open. Carlos Alcaraz. Now he has won 5 Grand Slams. In women also this time it's gone to a tennis player, and that is Aryna Sabalenka, who is from Belarus, right? Aryna Sabalenka. I hope you know that Belarus is a very strong ally of Russia, and the president of Belarus is, has been the president for more than 35 years. His name is Alexander Lukashenko, right? And Nadia has won the Lifetime Achievement Award for the Laureus Sports Award. Okay, so she was the first gymnast to get a 10 on 10 at the Olympics. All right. So this is, I think, as far as sports is concerned. Also, remember that we have a very important appointment, and after this, I will pass on to Aditya sir. The appointment for this month has been that of Ashok Kumar Lahiri, right? Ashok Kumar Lahiri has become the vice chairman of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog stands for National Institution for Transforming India. The headquarters of this is in New Delhi. It replaced the 12th Planning Commission, and it is set up in Delhi, and this was set up on the 1st of January 2015, right? And the chairman of Niti Aayog is the Prime Minister himself. The vice chairman is now Ashok Kumar Lahiri. He was earlier part of the 15th Finance Commission. Also, BVR Subramaniam will be now replaced. As of now, there is additional charge given to Chibber, but yes, in the coming months, we'll get to know who the new CEO of Niti Aayog is. All right. So I've given you the basic snapshot of what April has been all about.
Hello children, and welcome to the most important current affairs for the month of April. And in this PPT, through this PPT, we will be covering everything which is more important for you from the exam perspective. Sir has already given you a snapshot of everything that has basically happened in the month of April. I will be taking up the topics in a little more detail, and other than this, you have a full-fledged April magazine, which will be covering topics more in detail and topics other than what are present in the PPT here. All right. Through the PPT, I will only be taking up the most important ones, which I feel are there is greater probability of these topics to be asked in the exam. All right. So without wasting further time, we'll quickly begin with the important days for the month of April. The first one is NATO Day, which is celebrated on 4th of April. Now, this year, NATO is specifically important because of US intention of pulling out of NATO. All right. What is this US intention of pulling out of NATO? Now, an ironical thing about this is that NATO as an organization was actually established by the United States of America. And now USA is only that one country which is considering pulling out of NATO. Why is this consideration in picture? Is simply because you all remember during the month of January, we did have this one discussion where I had told you all that Donald Trump, after undertaking Operation Absolute Resolve in Venezuela, he had shown this intention that he wants to capture Greenland, which is under the sovereignty of Denmark, under the Kingdom of Denmark. When he did this, then there were certain European Union countries which stood up in support of Denmark, saying that such an action, such an imperialistic action by the United States of America will not be accepted, and therefore they tried to invoke Article 5 of NATO, which calls for collective security. All right. So since then, And that was one instance. And the second instance was when United States of America undertook this attack on Iran. It was then also that US started asking help from the NATO members, from the European countries, basically to permit US missiles to pass through the airspaces of these European Union countries. And the second thing that they did was that, and the second thing that he asked was that these European countries should permit US to use their military spaces to launch attacks on Iran. And there were countries like Italy and Spain which had outrightly disagreed and did not permit the United States of America to actually use their military bases. Okay. So because of these reasons, Donald Trump is considering withdrawing from NATO. So keeping all of this in mind, NATO becomes an important topic this year. And then also current affair being that 4th of April, we celebrate NATO Day. So NATO, the full form stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was established on 4th of April 1949, and it was basically to promote mutual defense and collective security amongst its members. Now 1949, do keep in mind that NATO came into existence during the Cold War period. It was this particular period where the entire global order was divided into two superblocks. One was led by USSR, which believed in the ideology of socialism and communism, and the other bloc was led by the United States of America, which believed in the ideology of capitalism and liberalism. All right. In such a circumstance, both of them, they undertook a very competitive spirit against each other, wanted to expand their influence, wanted to undertake massive research and better their space dealings, better their defense equipment, etc., which resulted in hostility of relations between USA and USSR. In this backdrop, USA undertook the establishment of North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is a military organization, and it basically worked on the principle of collective security, which simply implied that an attack on any one of the member countries of NATO would be considered as an attack on all the countries of NATO, and therefore NATO collectively is going to undertake an attack on the aggressor country. All right, so this was just undertaken to curtail the expanding influence of socialism on other countries. And as against this, against NATO, Russia, back then known as USSR, also undertook establishment of a similar military organization known as the Warsaw Pact, which was established in 1955. All right, and then Warsaw Pact dissolved after the disintegration of USSR. So keep these basic informations in mind. It is important. Presently, NATO has 32 members. Initially, there were 12 founding members of NATO: Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, United Kingdom, and US. Then now we have 32 members. It is headquartered in Brussels in Belgium. All right. Then coming to the most important provision of NATO, which is Article 5. It provides the principle of collective security, where an attack on any one member will be considered as an attack on all of them, and therefore can entail collective attack by all the member countries of NATO. All right. So this was being invoked by USA during the Iran-USA war, against which a large number of European NATO member countries objected, due to which now US President is trying to or has proposed pulling out of NATO. All right, so I can go through this. Also do remember that the present head is Mark Rutte. Okay, all right. Then coming to the next is National Maritime Day. Now do remember, this is National Maritime Day. This is not International Maritime Day. And this National Maritime Day, every year we celebrate on the 5th of April. Why is this particular day celebrated? Because this marked the day when SS Loyalty, which was an indigenously built ship, sailed for the first time from Bombay to London. It was operated by the Sindhya Steam Navigation Company Limited. All right. So that is all that you need to remember with respect to that. Also do remember that it was first announced in the year 1964, and it also marks the culmination of Merchant Navy Week. Presently, the Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways is Sarbananda Sonowal. You need to remember all the basic union ministers of India, because your exam does ask you at least one question every year on the union ministers. Okay. Last year they had actually asked you two. One was on the Union Minister of Civil Aviation, and the other one that they had asked was the Education Minister of India. So do keep in mind all the ministers. Then next is 7th of April, that we observe as World Health Day. This year the theme was Together for Health, Stand with Science. And why do we celebrate this? Because the World Health Organization came into existence on 7th of April 1948. All right. So this year there were two major events that took place. International One Health Summit in Lyons, France, under the G7 presidency. Do remember that this year G7 summit is being held in France. G7 came into existence, basics of G7. Do remember G7 is also an important topic this year. G7 came into existence in 1975 with 7 member countries. Then in 1998, G7 became G8 with the inclusion of Russia. And then again in 2014, G8 moved back to being G7 after Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula from Ukraine, which resulted in the ousting of Russia from G7. All right. Okay. Then WHO is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, and presently it is headed by Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. Okay. Do remember his name. Then coming to the next day, the 12th of April, which is observed as International Day of Human Space Flight. Now, children, this day is particularly important this year because major initiatives are being undertaken in the space sector. All right, we have also made announcements for the launch of the first mission under Gaganyaan mission towards the end of this year, and next year we are planning to launch the full-fledged Gaganyaan mission. So keeping in mind Gaganyaan, which is India's first indigenous manned mission to space, aligning with that, this day also becomes important. So this day commemorates the historic flight of Yuri Gagarin in 1961 when he orbited Earth aboard Vostok 1 spacecraft. All right, so do remember the name of the spacecraft. It marks the first human space journey to space. All right, and it was declared by the United Nations General Assembly in 2011. All right, then World Heritage Day celebrated every year on 18th of April, and World Heritage Day is basically celebrated to spread awareness about the upkeep, better conservation and preservation of global monuments of international importance and outstanding universal value. This day was proposed by ICOMOS. ICOMOS is an organization which works under the ambit of UNESCO and basically undertakes verification of cultural heritage sites under UNESCO's World Heritage Site programs. All right, do remember. All right, so it was under ICOMOS that UNESCO officially declared 18th of April as World Heritage Day in 1983, and UNESCO World Heritage Convention, which basically undertakes the announcement of World Heritage Sites, was declared in was launched in 1972 and came into force in 1975. Under this particular program, India has 44 World Heritage Sites, out of which 36 are cultural, 7 are natural, and 1 is a mixed site. The first sites under the program from India were announced in 1983, and they were the Ajanta Ellora Caves, Agra Fort, and the Taj Mahal. All right. Latest sites, I can go through it. Last year, 2025, we had Maratha military landscapes which were declared. These are a group of 12 cultural heritage forts, out of which 11 are located in Maharashtra, 1 is located in Tamil Nadu. You can't remember the names of the 11 forts of Maharashtra, but do keep in mind the name of that one particular fort which is located in Tamil Nadu, which is the Jinji Fort. All right. Okay. Then last year in the tentative list also we got 7 new inclusions, and now we have 69 sites in UNESCO's tentative list. India's first petroglyph conservation park at Sindhu Ghat in Leh was also announced on World Heritage Day to preserve the region's ancient rock art heritage. All right. Then coming to the next one, 24th of April, which we celebrate as the Panchayati Raj Day. Why? Because on 24th of April, the 73rd Constitution Amendment Act was implemented in 1993. All right. So the act came into existence in the sense that it was legitimately passed by the parliament in 1992, but it was enforced, that is implemented from 24th of April 1993, and it is to commemorate the 24th of April that we celebrate as National Panchayati Raj Day. Why is National Panchayati Raj Day such a milestone? Is because this particular day marks the effective implementation of decentralization of powers in India. All right, decentralization here implies that you take away certain powers from the state government and you distribute it amongst the local authorities. Local authorities here imply panchayats for rural areas and municipalities for urban areas. All right, and municipalities municipalities came into existence through the 74th Constitution Amendment Act, and it was effectively implemented on 1st of June. So 1st of June we observe as Municipality Day informally. All right. Okay. Then first celebration was undertaken in the year 2001, and this year Sashakt Panchayat Sarvageen Vikas was the basic theme of the National Panchayati Day. Then coming to the home affairs. Now for the month of April, there are three basic, very extremely important current affairs which actually are the special feature for the month of April, and that is census, that is delimitation, that is women reservation. Why? Although census was announced last year, but effectively the census began from the 1st of April 2026, all right, through house listing and digital counting of the population. So census, very important. Census resulted in a cascading series of events which finally culminated into the delimitation bill. That was the 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill that was brought in the Parliament, and also it brought into picture again the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, which was passed in 2023. So all these three events significantly are very, very important for the exam this year. All right. Okay. Now coming to census, before we go to the slide, what is census? Census is simply the counting of the population in the country and outlining their demographic attributes. All right. Counting of population in the sense we get to know what is the number of people living in India, and demographic attributes. By this, we simply imply demographic attributes is simply imply the total male to female ratio, what is the occupation structure of the country, in the sense that how many people are employed in the agriculture sector, how many in the secondary sector, how many in the tertiary sector, etc., etc. So what is the working age population, what is the ratio of the dependent population. So all this stands for the demographic structure of the country. Now, this year, the census is specifically important for two reasons, because these two reasons are the special features of the census this year. The first being that this census is India's first digital census. Digital census in the sense that if you all have not done it, if your parents have not done it, then through this, inform them that they all can go and fill in the census information through an online enumeration program. Meaning that census for the first time is being undertaken digitally, although they will come to your houses for basic details and verifications. But then if you do it online, you will be given this census enumeration ID. So whenever the census people, authorities actually come to your house, you are only to show them the census enumeration ID, and then that will, and through that, you don't have to refill the census form. The first time the census is being digital, and the second is that it is after independence that for the first time we are undertaking a socio-economic caste census in India. That is to outline the proportion of people who are underdeveloped, below poverty line, depending on their caste distinctions. Okay, so do keep in mind these two basic features. All right, now what is the relationship between census and delimitation? What is delimitation? Delimitation is basically demarcation of territorial constituencies within the country to undertake effective representation of a section of population by one particular member of the parliament in the Lok Sabha. All right. So delimitation is the process by which the government outlines territorial constituencies in the entire country. And the purpose of demarcating these territorial constituencies is that one significant section of population is effectively represented by one MP in the Lok Sabha. All right. Okay. Now, because this is based on the basis of population, so naturally it is very important that one set ratio of population is represented by one MP in the parliament, so that effective grievance redressal, policy formulation, development could take place in the country. Okay. So now, although we did not have counting of population since 2011, the effective delimitation actually took place last after the 1971 census. After the 1971 census, since 1975, the government has been undertaking population control measures, and it was through the 42nd Constitution Amendment Act that the government had basically decided that they are going to undertake effective population control measures, and in the next 25 years, the population will be effectively controlled in the country. Once the population is controlled, then they are going to further take delimitation on the basis of the newly aligned population. And then this was set for the next 25 years. That is, the delimitation next was supposed to take place in 2001, 2002. Then again, the government did not undertake delimitation, only rearranged the constituencies on the basis of the reservation, and further brought out the 84th Constitution Amendment Act 2003, which said that delimitation will now take place in 2026 after the 2021 census. However, the 2021 census did not take place or couldn't take place because of the COVID pandemic. Now we have the census which is being undertaken. So naturally, after the census exercise, delimitation will take place. Now, delimitation is necessary because all of us know that India's population has grown exponentially. We did not have the census, but we did have the United Nations population report that was published. And as per that population report last year, India's population is 142 crores. All right. So naturally, we have the population has risen, due to which better representation is required. All right. Also, then the government said that it is after this delimitation that we are going to implement the women reservation. What is the women reservation? The women reservation was brought into existence through the 106th Constitution Amendment Act of 2023, which is known as Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. Through this Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, the government sought to reserve 33% of the total seats in the Lok Sabha and 33% of the total seats in the legislative assemblies for women. However, this reservation was to be implemented in the next Lok Sabha elections, apparently, after the bill was passed. The next Lok Sabha elections did take place in 2024, but then the government said that we will implement this after delimitation. Now, after the delimitation is now to take place after the census data. So now the series follows is we'll have the census first, then we'll have delimitation, then we have women reservation. Through this delimitation, through the 131st Amendment, the government basically said that the government seeks to increase the total number of seats of the Lok Sabha from 550 to 850 roughly. Okay. So when this seat is increased to 850, then women reservation would be implemented. Again, nowhere under the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam 2023 is there a provision that women reservation will be implemented only after the total number of seats of the Lok Sabha is increased. All right. Naturally, the 101st Amendment Act, which amendment bill, which sought to propose this increase in the total number of seats to effectively implement women reservation, was defeated in the parliament, and as of now we really don't know how will it be implemented. Okay, that was the long and short of everything related to census delimitation and women reservation. Okay, all right, so the census will be held in two phases: house listing and house schedule. Population enumeration will take place, which will span from 1st of April 2026 till 28th of February 2027. It will be conducted as per the provisions of the Census Act 1948 and Census Rules 1990. As per the constitutional mandate, the first census after 2026 can be used for delimitation. All right. Impact on women reservation. Women reservation will come into force after we get the census data. Then the government has as of now not made any announcement on NPR, although last year before the census exercise began, the government did say that this time along with the census, we will also undertake NPR and NRC. But as of now, no update. What is NPR? NPR is National Population Register, which seeks to keep a count, simple counting and nothing else, of everybody that is living in India. Everybody here includes citizens of India as well as non-citizens of India. What is the criteria for including non-citizens into the National Population Register? Is simply that if anybody is living in the country for the past 6 months or is going to live in the country for the next 6 months, then they can be included in the National Population Register. All right. As against this, we have another one, which is NRC. So NRC simply stands for a count of all the citizens of India. Okay. So NPR minus NRC basically gives us all the migrants or all the foreigners or the non-citizens of India. All right. So the last census was undertaken in 2011. The 2021 census was delayed because of the COVID pandemic. All right. It is conducted every 10 years. The first Indian census was undertaken in 1830 by Henry Walter in Dhaka. It is a city census. It was not a nationwide census. The first non-synchronous, in the sense haphazard census of the country nationwide took place in 1872 under Lord Mayo. Then the first synchronous census 1881 by the then Census Commissioner W.C. Plowden and under the Vice Governor Generalship of Lord Ripon. All right. Do remember that it was since here only that a 10-year cycle has been set. All right. So in India, we undertake a 10-year census. We have countries like Japan, Canada, which undertake it after every 5 years. The Office of the Registrar General and Census Commissioner under the Ministry of Home Affairs undertakes census. The first Census Commissioner of Independent India was R.A. Gopalaswamy. However, he died in office after getting appointed, and therefore he couldn't undertake the first census. The first census effectively was conducted under MWM Yeats. All right. Current Census Commissioner of India is Mrityunjay Kumar Narayan. Please remember his name. He's very important this year. All right. Census Ambassador has recently been chosen as Sudarshan Patnaik. He's that famous sand artist from Odisha who makes these beautiful sand art from on the Puri beach and keeps on posting it. And then we have the two mascots, Pragati and Vikas. Pragati is the female mascot, Vikas is the male mascot. All right. Legal or statutory provisions is the Census Act of 1948. Under the Constitution, it is provided in the Union list of the Constitution, and in the Union list, it is basically under entry 69. And the article that provides for this is Article 246 of the Constitution. For the socio-economic caste census, that is, for undertaking caste census in the country, the provision has been made under Article 340. Article 340 does not directly make the provision for a socio-economic caste census, but basically says or provides that the government must undertake effective initiatives to bring about the development of the socio-economically backward people in the country. All right. So that has been mentioned in Article 340. Now you will be able to undertake effective policies, programs for the socio-economically backward people in the country only after you get the number of such people in the country. So this number will be derived from the socio-economic caste census. Okay. All right. Then delimitation. Delimitation is to begin after the release of the census 2027. The parliament must pass a new delimitation act to effectively undertake this. What is delimitation? It is the process of fixing the number of seats and boundaries of territorial constituencies in each state of the Lok Sabha and legislative assemblies. All right. Constitutional provisions for delimitation. Article 82 says that delimitation must be undertaken for the Lok Sabha after every census. Article 170 says that delimitation must be undertaken for the legislative assemblies after every census. Article 330 calls for refixing the number of seats reserved for SCs. 332 is for scheduled tribes in the Lok Sabha and the legislative assemblies respectively. Then delimitation commission is appointed by the central government. It includes 3 members, a chairperson, which is supposed to be a retired or a serving Supreme Court judge. Chief Election Commissioner of India or an election commissioner nominated by him, and state election commissioners of the concerned states. All right. Then composition. Presently, we have Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai, who is the head of the Delimitation Commission. She is the same Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai who is also heading the UCC commissions of various states. All right. And the present Chief Election Commissioner is Gyanesh Kumar. Also, they can be assisted by MPs and MLAs, whenever they need their services. One thing about the Delimitation Commission that is specifically very important is that the orders of the Delimitation Commission is absolutely sacrosanct, meaning that they cannot be challenged in any courts. They can't be, nobody can disagree over the territorial distinctions or demarcations that have been made by the people, that have been made by the Delimitation Commission. All right, it has been set up 4 times till now. 1952, 63, 73, delimitation effectively did take place. After this, delimitation has not taken place. In 2002 also, we did not undertake any redrawing of boundaries or new constituencies. We only readjusted as per the reservation provisions of the SCs and the STs. All right. Okay, I've already explained this. You all can go through it. All right, just one more thing. Now when the government is going to trying to increase the number of seats from 550 to 850, this will be undertaken under Article 81 of the Constitution. Article 81 of the Constitution as of now provides that the maximum number of seats of the Lok Sabha is to be 550. So now if the government has to increase these seats, they will have to be amending Article 81. It was for this that the 131st Amendment Bill was basically passed. All right. So what was the purpose of the bill? It was to increase maximum Lok Sabha seats from 550 to 850, delete existing delimitation freeze till first census after 2026, empower Parliament to determine which census to be the basis for delimitation, delink implementation of women reservation from delimitation. All right. Then what was this act? It amends Article 81, the new amendment bill, which sought to increase the number of seats in the Lok Sabha from 550 to 850, and also sought that Article 334A should be immediately brought in, which sought to give 33% reservation for women. Also do remember that Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam was the 106th Constitution Amendment Act. Until now, we've had only 106 amendments. This is the last amendment that we've had. Okay. You can go through this. Then Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, 106 Constitution Amendment Act seeks to reserve 1/3 of all seats for women in the Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies, and in the Legislative Assembly of National Capital Territory of Delhi, including those reserved for SCs and STs. Then Article 239AA seeks for reservation of seats for women in the Delhi Union Territory. Previously, we did see that under this new bill, they've also talked about 33% reservation of seats, not only in Delhi, but also in the legislative assemblies of Jammu and Kashmir and Puducherry. All right. Then it seeks to introduce 3 new articles, 330A, 332A, and 334A. 330A is for women reservation in Lok Sabha. 332A is in the state legislative assemblies, and 334A basically provides for a sunset clause. What is the sunset clause? It simply says that if after 15 years women are getting elected to the Lok Sabha and legislative assemblies automatically in larger numbers, then this reservation provision would be discontinued. Okay, after 15 years, that is. All right. Okay. Then for census, they have also released a new helpline, which is a toll-free helpline, 1855, just to further assist the people. All right. Then the next national important news is permanent capital of Andhra Pradesh. Now, Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated in 2014 through Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act into 2 states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. It was through this Reorganization Act that the government had provided that Hyderabad, which was then the capital of Andhra Pradesh, was to continue as the combined capital of both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana for the next 10 years. And it was in this 10-year span that Andhra Pradesh was to choose a new capital for itself. So now finally, after 12 years, not 10 years, Andhra Pradesh has brought in, chosen Amravati as the sole and the permanent capital of Andhra Pradesh. All right. Now, why is this simply important is because initially Andhra Pradesh was suggesting 3 capitals, saying that Amravati was to be the legislative capital, Vishakhapatnam was to serve as executive capital, and Kurnool was to serve as judicial capital, but then it was removed and scrapped, and now it has chosen Amravati as its sole capital. All right. Also, the High Court of Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated into independent High Courts of Telangana at Hyderabad and Andhra Pradesh at Amravati. All right. Do remember that Andhra Pradesh was the first linguistic state to be created in India under the States Reorganization Act of 1953. And after the death of Poti Srimarallu, who had undertaken a 63-day fast unto death for the establishment of Andhra Pradesh, carving it out from the Madras state in 1953. And Kurnool was its capital. Then later, Hyderabad was merged with Andhra Pradesh in 1956, and Hyderabad city became the capital. All right. Then anti-defection, again very important this year. So we did see that there were 7 Rajya Sabha MPs from Aam Aadmi Party, prominent ones being Raghav Chadha, Harbhajan Singh, who left the Aam Aadmi Party and they joined BJP. All right. So when one particular MP or any MP who got elected to the parliament or to the state legislative assemblies on the ticket of one political party, and after getting elected, they leave this political party on whose ticket that actually won the elections, and they go and join another political party. This is known as defection. So during the 1970s, 1980s, this had become a norm that leaders would keep on switching on to parties between 10 days, between 15 days. There was this one particular person, Gaya Lal, I think, Gaya Lal or Gaya Prasad, who had actually changed parties thrice within a span of 15 days. So a very famous Amul cartoon was also back then drawing attention, Ayaram Gayaram. All right. Why? Because he continuously kept on leaving parties. So to prevent this and to basically keep the sanctity of the political party in place and the entire system in place, the government enacted the 52nd Constitution Amendment Act of 1985, which sought to bring about an anti-defection law. All right. And this also included a 10th schedule in the Constitution. So these MPs, they said that we have not defected the party. However, AAP in the sense the political party wanted to draw implications on these MPs on grounds of anti-defection law. Okay. Okay, so the Aam Aadmi Party submitted a petition to the Rajya Sabha chairman seeking disqualification of 7 MPs who defected to BJP, invoking provisions of the anti-defection law. So this anti-defection law is popularly known as the 10th, also known as the provisions of the 10th schedule. So defection refers to the act of abandoning one's political party or its voting positions in the legislature after being elected on its ticket. Committee on Defections was also known as Chavan Committee, which was chaired by Yashwantrao Chavan in 1967-69, and then through the 52nd Constitution Amendment Act of 1985, the 10th schedule was added to the Constitution. What are the basic grounds of disqualification under defection? The first is voluntarily giving up membership of the political party on whose ticket one was elected. All right. Defying political party whip or direction, in the sense that maybe there is a bill that is in the parliament which has to be voted upon. Now, the political party's leader said that everybody has to vote against the bill. But as against this particular order, this order or direction is known as whip. Against this particular order of the party whip, some particular MP voted in favor of it. So this is known as going against the political party's whip, could be a ground for defection or disqualification. If an independently elected legislature joins a political party, now somebody has won the election independently without being affiliated to any political party. So if such a person joins a political party, then that also amounts to defection. Then if a nominated legislature who is not part of a political party joins any political party after 6 months from the date of nomination. So this is that nominations, the president at the center and the governors in the state, they have the right to nominate. Governors can nominate 1/6 members of the legislative councils, and the president can nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha. All right. So if after getting nominated, you are nominated under certain special categories. So after getting nominated, if you join any political party, then that can also amount to disqualification. However, the power to acknowledge the grounds rests with the speaker in case of the Lok Sabha and chairman in case of the Rajya Sabha. All right. Okay, so as per the 10th schedule, disqualification on the grounds of defection does not apply in case of merger of original political party with another party, as long as it is agreed by 2/3 of the members of the legislature party. Okay, this means that if AAP party, if members of AAP, they wanted to merge with BJP and 2/3 of the members of AAP agreed that they want to merge with BJP, then it will not be considered as a legitimate ground for defection. Okay. Then the 7 defectors argue that they should not be disqualified since 2/3 of the AAP Rajya Sabha legislature party has merged with BJP. However, the disqualification plea by AAP argues that the 10th schedule requires genuine merger of the original political party with another party, which must then be agreed to by 2/3 of the members of the legislature party. Only the switching of parties by the legislators is not enough if the original political party has not merged. All right. The Constitution's 91st Amendment Act 2003 had strengthened the anti-defection provisions by removing the 1/3 split exception. That initially 2/3 was actually 1/3. Now it has been strengthened that 2/3 members should be agreeing not 1/3 members. So as of now, we are again waiting. AAP people are still contemplating their entire move to seek disqualification of the 7 AAP MPs who have defected. All right. Okay, then Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh have become the new states to set up UCC panel, and also just 2 days back we did see that Assam has also passed a UCC bill. All right, I think bill passed. They've also established a bill, I think. All right, so again, UCC stands for Uniform Civil Code, and it is headed by Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai. She is heading all the UCC commissions. What is UCC? UCC is basically bringing about similar laws guiding the civilian guiding everything pertaining to civil cases in the country, meaning that marriage laws, divorce laws, inheritance laws, etc. would be same for everybody within the country without any distinctions based on religion. All right. So that is what a uniform civil code establishes. Where is this provision found in the Constitution? So it is Article 44 of the Constitution in Part 4, which is Directive Principles of State Policy of Indian Constitution, and it says that the state shall endeavor to secure for all citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. All right. Okay. Then Niti Aayog. Now we had a new vice chairman of Niti Aayog who has been appointed. So it is Ashok Kumar Lahiri who has been appointed as the new vice chairman, and he has replaced the current one, which is Suman K. Behri. And along with him, we have other appointees like Rajiv Baba, Professor K.V. Raju, Professor Govardhan Das, M. Srinivasan, etc. And the chairman of Niti Aayog is ex officio the Prime Minister. Niti Aayog came into existence on 1st of January 2015. And it replaced the erstwhile Planning Commission, which was established in 1950. Then quickly coming to the external affairs. The first one is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defense Ministers Meet. All right. Okay. Now, SCO Defense Ministers Meet is taking place in Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan. This year, Kyrgyzstan is hosting the SCO meeting. SCO International Organization has a probability of being asked in the exam. Last year, they did ask you a question on SCO. This year, I'm anticipating that they may ask you questions more on on BRICS, because India is hosting BRICS. All right. So any which way, this is not the full-fledged SCO summit. This is just a precursor of the summit level meeting of SCO, and this is a defense ministers meet. It took place in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. Because it was defense ministers meet, so naturally our defense minister Rajnath Singh was present here, and he also highlighted India's operations Sindoor and talked about India's zero tolerance policy. India highlighted the role of SCO's regional anti-terrorist structure, which is known as RATS, all right, to promote regional security. Then SCO was effectively formed in 2001, and it initially was known as Shanghai 5 in 1996. It has a total of 10 members: China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, India, Pakistan, Iran, and Belarus. SCO covers 60% of Eurasia. Secretariat, please children remember, very important, the headquarters of SCO is in Beijing. The name is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, but the headquarters is located in Beijing, not Shanghai. And headquarters of RATS is in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. All right. Then India and Pakistan joined in 2017. Very important to remember. Iran joined in 2023. Belarus joined in 2024. This year it is being hosted by Kyrgyzstan in Bishkek. Next is Myanmar has now sworn in its new president, and Min Aung Hlaing is the new president of Myanmar. He was previously the military head of the Myanmar junta. Now he resigned from being the head of the Myanmar military junta, and now he is the sworn in president of Myanmar, and he was elected by whatever limited parliament exists in Myanmar, and he was the commander-in-chief of the defense services of Tatmadaw, Burmese military, and has been elected as the president. In 2021, there was a military coup that took place in Myanmar, and this resulted in the ousting of the former president, prime minister Aung San Suu Kyi. And it was said that she was a corrupt personnel. She undertook rigging of elections and then came into power, etc. So she was removed, and the power was transferred to Min Aung to the military junta, and from 2021, 5 years later, they finally have a new president. All right. Do remember that he was basically backed by USDP, which is the Union Solidarity and Development Party, and also the former one was Aung San Suu Kyi. Win A Wu now is the new head of the military junta. They have very weird names, but you need to remember. Okay, then India and New Zealand signed a free trade agreement. All right. So 100% duty-free access has been agreed to between New Zealand and India. And here you see Piyush Goyal, he is our Union Commerce Minister. So major boost to labor-intensive sectors like MSME, textiles, leather, footwear, etc. New Zealand has committed to invest US dollar equivalent to 20 billion in India over the next 50 years. Then also for the first time, we have undertaken globalization of Ayush with some other country. What is Ayush? It is India's traditional medicine system. Naturally is an abbreviation. A stands for Ayurveda, Y stands for Yoga, and U stands for Unani, S stands for Siddha, Soga, Rigpa, and H stands for homeopathy. All right. Other than that, also agricultural productivity partnership has been undertaken across 118 services sectors and most favored nation treatment in 139 sectors. What is important from this is that again, we have not undertaken any pact or treaty pertaining to the dairy sector. New Zealand has a very well developed and high quality dairy sector, and this high quality dairy sector or very well developed dairy sector has resulted in could be a major threat to Indian farmers' security. So we have basically issued, we did not undertake any free trade agreement pertaining to the dairy sector just to protect our farmers. So do keep in mind this. Okay. So the next is UAE, United Arab Emirates, has exited from OPEC, and this will become effective from 1st of May 2026. What is OPEC? It is a permanent intergovernmental organization created at the Baghdad Conference in 1960. Do remember the Baghdad Conference. Do remember the year. Do remember Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. These were the founding members. OPEC was created in 1960 and OECD was created in 1961. All right, now OPEC has a total of 11 active members. Then we also have OPEC Plus, which was formed in 2016, an alliance between OPEC and 10 other oil producers to address declining oil prices. OPEC Plus includes Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Brunei, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Mexico, Oman, Russia, South Sudan, and Sudan. UAE has said that it is exiting primarily due to restrictive production quotas that limited its ability to utilize its expanded oil capacity. Okay, and it also has this aim to reach 5 million barrels per day by 2027. Okay, then coming to science, technology, and space. Very important that India has achieved fast breeder nuclear reactor capabilities, and this has been achieved at Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu. This is very, very important. What is a fast breeder prototype reactor? In such a reactor, you have to put in very little raw materials, in the sense very little nuclear raw material, which resides in massive production of fissile fuels, also in a chain reaction. Okay, so it has now officially entered the vital second stage of its 3-stage nuclear program. So this is pretty important. This year nuclear energy is important for 2-3 reasons. Last year we had the National Nuclear Mission. Do keep in mind. Then we've achieved criticality of prototype fast breeder reactor at Kalpakkam. For this it is important. Then also we have undertaken the Shanti Act. All right. So Shanti Act I did take up in the December current affairs. Go back, revise. All right. So prototype fast breeder reactor, do remember it has been undertaken at Kalpakkam, developed by Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, built by Bharatiya Nabikya Vidyut Limited, Bhavani. Okay. India has become the second country to do so. Very, very important. Before India, only Russia had this technology. Now we have also undertaken this. All right. Do go through all of this. 3-stage nuclear program was formulated by Homi J. Bhabha in the 1950s, for which he is also known as father of India's nuclear program. All right. Okay. This year gives you basic other nuclear initiatives and ideas. Nuclear Energy Mission invested 20,000 crores in it, has the agenda of developing 5 small modular reactors by 2033. Shanti Act, do remember the full form. This basically wants to incorporate the private sector into the nuclear energy sector, and also India has a target of developing 100 gigawatt of nuclear power generation capacity by 2047 to align with India's agenda to become a developed country or Viksit Bharat by 2047. Presently, the chairman of Atomic Energy Commission is Shri Ajit Kumar Mohanty, and the Atomic Energy Commission and Department of Atomic Energy works directly under the Prime Minister. Presently it is Prime Minister Modi. Also, do remember that it does not work under any ministry. There is no nuclear energy ministry. There is no nuclear atomic energy ministry. It is only a department which works directly under the Prime Minister. Okay. All right. Then coming to the next one, the 99th Ramsar site has been announced, and it is the Shekha Jheel Bird Sanctuary located in Uttar Pradesh. And now Uttar Pradesh has a total of 12 Ramsar sites, the second highest. Last year in 2025, we had a total of 11 additions. In 2023, we till now had 3. So Charidhand in Gujarat was announced in January. Patna Bird Sanctuary, Uttar Pradesh, announced in January. Then this is the third one. The Shekha Jheel has been announced in the month of April. Then Gogabil last year from Bihar. Other than Gogabil, we also have Gokul Jalashay. Okay, and Udaipur Jheel. Gokul Jalashay and Udaipur Jheel, all of them were announced last year. From Rajasthan, Sirasal Lake was announced last year, and also Khichan and Minar. I have given all of this information in February magazine, so I can go through this. Kopra Jalashay from Chhattisgarh last year. This is Chhattisgarh's first. Other than that, Khichyopadli, Sikkim's first, was announced last year, and also Udhwa Lake from Jharkhand, which is Jharkhand's first, was announced last year. All right. Then Sakar Kotai and Tirthangal from Tamil Nadu were also announced last year. Ramsar Convention, the full form is International Convention for Conservation and Sustainable Use of Wetlands. It is also known as the Ramsar Convention. Then on wetlands of international importance, especially as waterfowl habitat, which is the official name. It was named after the Ramsar city, where it was signed on 2nd of February 1971. It entered into force 4 years later. That is, in 1975, India became a signatory in 1982. Okay. Then Mission Mitra has been successfully undertaken. MITRA stands for Mapping of Interoperable Traits and Response Assessment, which is just to understand their basic behaviors when they are exposed to outer space-like conditions. All right, to test the mental, physical strength of astronauts. This is undertaken as a precursor to the Gaganyaan mission. The Gaganyaan mission very, very important this year because it is India's first manned mission to space, under which we seek to send a 3-day mission to the International Space Station, which is 400 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. A total of 3 people would be sent. 4 people are selected and 3 will be sent for this. The first quarter of 2027 is what India is targeting to send the Gaganyaan mission to space. All right. Then Anthropic has brought out Mythos, which is its new AI model, Claude Mythos, and it has triggered a global concern. Why? Because this particular model has the capability to detect vulnerabilities into the IT systems of the countries globally. So if it actually detects vulnerabilities, exposes it, then naturally a major cyber threat exists or comes into picture from different countries. So our Prime Minister, our Finance Minister has taken this into consideration and is directly engaging with Anthropic's leadership, saying that they may do this, but only inform India about it so that we can work on our vulnerabilities. All right. So it is the latest model of Anthropic's Claude AI family, represents a major leap in artificial intelligence. It can autonomously detect critical vulnerabilities in widely used software and infrastructure at a speed far exceeding human researchers. Okay. Then this year we will be hosting the IBCA summit in June 2026. The announcement for this was made in the budget itself. What is IBCA? IBCA stands for International Big Cat Alliance, which was proposed by our Prime Minister in 2023, marking the 50-year anniversary of Project Tiger, which was launched in 1973. And recently we had a 26th country joining IBCA just 2 days back. You will tell me which is the 26th country to join IBCA now. All right, so this convention is likely to be held on 1st of April. It simply seeks to preserve 7 big cat species. All right. President of IBCA is Bhupendra Yadav and Director General of IBCA is SP Yadav. Bhupendra Yadav is our Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Then coming to the next one, defense. Operation Himsetu was launched by the Indian Army to basically rescue people from North Sikkim after major landslides. All right. So do remember this. Only the name and the region is important. Then India has undertaken record defense export this year, exporting a total of $4 billion defense exports to the other countries. However, we are still the world's second largest arms importer. Our highest importer is Russia. We import maximum equipment from Russia. Second highest is France. And this is as per SIPRI report. All right. Okay. Then we undertook 3 exercises. You need to remember the countries with which we've undertaken this. Exercise Cyclone is with Egypt. Dweep Shakti, it was India's itself exercise. Tri-service joint military exercise between the Navy, Air Force and the Army. And also now we have Dastalik, which was the 7th edition, and it is with Uzbekistan. All right. Okay. Then coming to the sports section, we have major chess updates. What you need to remember that Arunya Ghosh from Assam has been declared as India's 95th Grandmaster. He became the 4th Indian to earn the Grandmaster title this year. All right. Then other chess Grandmasters, R. Vaishali won the FIDE Women's Candidates Tournament in 2026. She will challenge the reigning world champion Zhu Wenjun this year. Javokhir Sindarov wins FIDE's Men Candidates Tournament 2026. Then the 24-year-old Grandmaster became the first Indian woman to win the Women's Candidates Tournament of FIDE. This year is important. Last year we did get a question on FIDE. Last year FIDE was important because we were hosting the FIDE Chess Championship in India in Goa, and also last year the FIDE Trophy was named after Vishwanath Anand, who was India's first chess master. And other than that, basic information about FIDE, that it is the World Chess Championship, and also that it was established, undertaken in 1924 for the first time in Chamonix in France. Okay. Then coming to personalities and history, there are two important things that I want to cover. One is B.R. Ambedkar. So B.R. Ambedkar, why? Because 14th of April every year we celebrate his birth anniversary. And this year it was 35th birth anniversary of Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. He is famous because he is the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. All right. So he was born in Mahao, Madhya Pradesh, into Mahar or a Dalit family. What have been his major contributions? He undertook the Mahad Satyagraha in 1927. Now, what was the Mahad Satyagraha? This particular Satyagraha was specifically undertaken because naturally there were caste discriminations with respect to access to public places. So people belonging to the lower caste, they were not permitted to drink water from public tanks. So there was this one particular public tank, the Chowdhury tank in Maharashtra. So he undertook a massive protest there, which is a very violent protest, which eventually resulted in permissions for the people belonging to the lower caste to drink water from this particular public tank. This took place on 20th March 1927. This year we've entered the 100th year of the Mahad Satyagraha. Again, very important, do keep in mind. Then 25th of December, the same year, he burnt a copy of Manusmriti, and this is observed as Manusmriti Dahan Divas. All right, why? Because Manusmriti was basically the Hindu code of law which brought into existence such stark discrimination. Then round table conference, very important, that he represented the depressed classes in the round table conferences. And the important thing about it, that he was this one person who was present at all the three round table conferences. In constitutional architecture, he was the chairman of the drafting commission. He worked for gender justice. He brought in the Hindu code bill where women were supposed to be provided equality in terms of property and divorce rights. Organizations established by him, the Bahishkrit Hita Karni Sabha in 1923. Then he established the Independent Labour Party in 1936. He also established the Scheduled Caste Federation in 1942. All right. This year, the government has developed 5 key sites associated with B.R. Ambedkar as the Panchatir. 14th of October 1956, he undertook conversions to Buddhism. He himself converted to Buddhism, and along with him, a large mass of people converted to Buddhism, and this at the Diksha Bhumi, where they made 22 vows. All right. Then 5 Tirth places that have been recognized by the government pertaining to B.R. Ambedkar as the Janma Bhumi, where he was born, Shiksha Bhumi, where he stayed while he was studying, Diksha Bhumi in Nagpur, Maharashtra, where he converted to Buddhism, then Mahaparinirvan Bhumi, Delhi, where he breathed his last in 1956, and Chaitya Bhumi, Mumbai, place of his cremation. He was the first Minister of Law and Justice for India, referred to right to constitutional remedies, Article 32 under Fundamental Rights, Part 3 of the Constitution, as the heart and soul of the Constitution. Cremation is known as Chaitya Bhumi. His autobiography is Waiting for a Visa. Other books by him: Annihilation of Caste, Buddhism and Dhamma, Riddles in Hinduism, Untouchables, Pakistan or the Partition of India, What Congress and Gandhiji have done to the untouchables, Castes in India, Who were the Shudras. Then the second important event that I want you all to keep in mind is 13th of April, which marks the anniversary of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. All right. So Jallianwala Bagh massacre was undertaken when a peaceful protest took place against the Rowlatt Act of the government. All right. So the government had passed the Rowlatt Act, which is known as Anarchical and Revolutionary Crimes Act 1919. It was known as the Rowlatt Act because this act was passed under the leadership of Sir Sidney Rowlatt. It was on his name that it was named as the Rowlatt Act. All right. So the Rowlatt Act, it is also known as the Gagging Act. It basically gave superpowers to the police authorities to arrest anybody without a warrant. It removed the writ of habeas corpus. You could arrest anybody, and that trial could be undertaken without a jury. A person could be imprisoned for up to 2 years without trial and didn't even have the right to get a lawyer. So and why could they be, imprisoned and no trials, etc., only on the pretext of spreading seditious activities in the country. All right. So Gandhiji called for a nationwide hartal against the Rowlatt Act. One such protest was scheduled to take place in Amritsar in Punjab. And before the protest would effectively take place, the 2 leaders who were supposed to lead the protest, known as Saifuddin Kichlu and Dr. Satyapal Malik, They were arrested on the 9th of April and taken to some unknown destination. Again, the Rowlatt Act was in picture, so naturally you couldn't be informed on the grounds of the arrest and where are they being taken after getting arrested. All right. After this, what happened is that the people in Punjab, they decided to continue with the protest and they decided to meet for a peaceful protest coinciding with the festival of Baisakhi in Amritsar in the Jallianwala Bagh. Now, before they could meet, just one day before, we had Michael O'Dyer, who had imposed martial law in Amritsar and basically had forbidden that people can't meet in gatherings of more than 4 people. The people did not know that they have something like the Jallianwala Bagh as the martial law in the country, and they met at the Jallianwala Bagh to celebrate Baisakhi. It was here that General Dyer, he ordered his troops to surround the Jallianwala Bagh from all sides. It had only one particular entry. Close the entry and open fire on the crowd till your ammunition's exhausted, which the troops obligingly did, and it resulted in the death of large number of people for no reason. Due to which, naturally, major criticism was drawn. The British government also established an inquiry commission, which is known as the Hunter Commission. It was headed by W. Hunter, due to which it came to be known as the Hunter Commission. General Dyer was called back to England, and they basically found very little number of deaths, etc. As against this, Gandhiji also established another commission, which is known as the Tehqiqat Commission, to inquire into the wrongs done under the Jallianwala Bagh incident. All right, and then Jallianwala Bagh also formed one of the reasons to launch the non-cooperation movement in India. All right. The Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial Act 1951 makes the Prime Minister the chairperson of the Memorial Trust. Then, what was the Rowlatt Act? It authorized the British colonial government to imprison suspected political subversives up to without trial for up to 2 years. In response, Mahatma Gandhi organized a nationwide hartal on 6th of April 1919. 9th of April, 2 prominent local nationalists, Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu, Satyapal, were secretly arrested. Day of the massacre, 13th April 1919, coincided with Baisakhi, a major harvest festival. Thousands of men, women, children gathered there were killed. General Dyer arrived without issuing any warrant. Warning to disperse, Dyer ordered his troops to open fire. Over 1,000 men, women, children were killed. Hunter Commission was appointed in 1919 to investigate into the massacre. 1940, Udham Singh assassinated Michael O'Dyer in London to avenge the death of the people who were massacred in the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. And there were a lot of people who had actually applauded General Dyer for his such heroic feat. And General Dyer had actually issued a statement in the House, in the Parliament in England, saying that he had undertaken this shooting on unarmed crowd only to invoke fear in the people for the British rule. All right. Then coming to indexes, we have one most important, which is the Panchayati Advancement Index. And as per this Panchayat Advancement Index, it basically gives or measures the achievements and works undertaken by the panchayats in the country on 9 local sustainable development goals, and it is undertaken by Ministry of Panchayat. The top performer, the national topper, was the Jugal Kishore Nagar Village Committee in Tripura. Top performing state was Tripura, followed by Kerala and Odisha. All right. And West Bengal was the only major state that did not participate in Panchayat Advancement Index. Then coming to the next bit, which is the awards, we have 2 most important ones. One is the Goldman Environmental Prize, or the Green Nobel. This time it was given to 6 women activists for the first time in history. So we have Iroro Tanshi from Nigeria, Boreen Kim from South Korea, Sarah Finch from UK, Theonella Roca Macbob from Papua New Guinea, Alana Akak Hurley from US, and Yuvelis Morales Blanco from Colombia. All right, do remember their name. It is, and this particular prize, the Goldman Environmental Prize, is often known as the Green Nobel. It includes themes like climate justice, protection of biodiversity, indigenous rights, opposition to environmentally harmful projects. All right, it was established in 1989 by philanthropists Richard and Rhoda Goldman. All right, and gives a cash prize of $200,000. Then the next is the Laureus World Sports Award, often referred as Oscars of the sports, okay, held in Madrid in Spain. And Spanish tennis player Carlos Alcaraz won the World Sportsman of the Year award, while Belarusian tennis star Arina Sabalenka received the World Sportswoman of the Year award. Other awardees, you all can go through it. Team of the Year, Paris Saint-Germain. Breakthrough of the Year, Lando Norris. Comeback of the Year, Rory McIlroy. Sports person with a disability, Gabriel Arroyo. Action sports person of the year, Chloe Kim. Young sports person of the year, Lamine Yamal. Sporting inspiration, Tony Cruz. Lifetime award, Nadia Comaneci. Sport for Good award, Football Mass, and hosted by Novak Djokovic and freestyle skiing stars Elaine Gu. All right. So that was all and everything important from April for you all. Keep in mind these topics more while revising for April, and then naturally you have the magazine to give you a detail of everything that was provided. All right. So I'll see you all soon with the May current affairs. Keep studying, keep learning, and get into the best colleges. Thank you, children.